Cooper back deep to receive. Logan Prescott with the kickoff, and we are underway from Indiana. And the first kick of the night is out of bounds. First play of the game goes to Shaun Shivers, wiggling his way past the 40. And the Auburn transfer picks up a big chunk on 1st and 15. Here are tonight's impact players, brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
Yeah, we got Cam Camper and DJ Matthews. Big games last week against the Illini.
Black surveying, flushed out of the pocket, and has to let it go. A good defensive stand on the opening series. The New Zealander on to punt it away for Indiana. It's a good one inside the 10. It'll be fielded, and he is brought down. Jermaine Jackson brought down inside the 10.
McCoy was the guy who just kept performing in the spring, earned the starting nod against Washington State, and played solid enough to keep it the second week.
And a handoff to start the first offensive series. Late more than anticipated, too, due to the injury to James Head. Made the most of his opportunity. On second down, another carry. And a big gain on second down across the sticks, but a flag behind the play.
Illegal formation. Offense number 88 was lined up off the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 12. Handoff again, and that time brought down right at the line of scrimmage by Mr. Aaron Casey in the defensive secondary for Indiana. 3rd and 11. And the handoff goes to Roschon Johnson, and he is brought down just beyond the line of scrimmage. Ricardo Chavez back to punt. And it won't even get to DJ Matthews down inside the 40, so Indiana will have.
And that's what kept him in the game and ultimately won them the game.
They're going to hand it off first. And it's Shivers, maybe a gain of 1 on 1st down. Baselak over the middle and almost intercept. Still coming down a little bit here, more like a mist in the first quarter. And they go to the ground again. Shivers picking and popping his way through the defense and gets close to the 1st down. What does Indiana do here?
Well, you might ask yourself, why would he run on 3rd and 8? It's because he knew that he had 2 downs to get it. So they run to put it manageable. I think they give it to Shivers again.
4th and 2. It is Shivers, and he's got a 1st down and more all the way to the 20.
Shivers already has more yards right now almost than he had last week against that Illinois front, who was stacking the box. More favorable boxes right now.
Shivers already with 31 yards tonight on 5 carries. Baselak over the middle. It's DJ Matthews, and he's taken down inside the 10.
That would have been a 1st down. Now we got 2nd and 14, 15.
From the 25. Baselak with lots of time, and it goes through the hands of Kobe and out of bounds.
All kinds of time, not the start they wanted for their passing game, right? Here they're right back at it again, trying to go fast.
3 to the left side. Baselak going wide to the field. 43-yarders against Illinois last week. He was perfect, 3 for 3. This one from 32. And he missed it wide right. 2nd offensive drive of the game for Giovanni McCoy and company. And he's looking deep down the field. And it's just out of the reach of the freshman Jordan Dwyer.
Very good, very experienced. All Big Ten, both of them in 2020.
2nd down and 10, and it's a handoff, and the Indiana defense is all over it.
Jermaine Jackson, 2nd from the top of your screen. They love him on 3rd down.
And a pre-snap penalty comes in.
Offense number 78.
You got to wonder if Tom Allen's going to bring pressure. Doesn't look like he's going to bring pressure, but you got to protect and empty.
Quick swing out to the left side. Indiana in pursuit. Bo Robbins was there, as was J.H. Tevis.
Tunnel screen, good, safe play, but the play was made by Tevis and his hustle. Watch J.H. Tevis here, 47. You see how he feels the screen, and then if he doesn't make that play, that's a first down. Great effort by Tevis. Tevis made a huge play against Illinois on 4th down at that goal line stand, playing at a very high level early in the season for that Hoosier D-line.
Tevis, one of 7 first-year transfers on Tom Allen's defense. He came over from Cal. Short punt. 3rd drive of the game for Indiana's offense. And it is a handoff to Josh Henderson, bouncing it out to the right side and rumbling ahead for about 5 on 1st down. So pull it back to pass here, and it's out of the reach of Cam Camper. 3rd down and 4. Baseline over the middle and a wide open catch. Check that, it was Emery Simmons, the transfer from UNC. Baseline, got a man over the middle, close to a 1st down, and it's Henderson again lowering the shoulder. Baseline over the middle, he was looking for A.J. Barner, just a little too much behind it.
Great fake right there.
Baseline rolling out to his left. And it is Barner dragged down at about the 10. On 3rd down, Bazelak going to the right side. He was looking for Camper. Camper went for 156 yards, the most ever by a wide receiver in an Indiana debut. And now Campbell out to kick it. He was 0 for 1 to start the game. And this one misses. Wide left. And it's still zeros on the scoreboard for Indiana.
And a late flag came out.
Holding. Defense, number 90. To penalize half the distance to the goal. Automatic 1st down.
Called on
Shivers
Malachi
in the
Williams.
backfield. And it's a lob throw into the end zone and tipped away. Shivers 5 carries for 31 yards tonight. And they do go to him. Shivers pushing ahead at the 3-yard line, and he stopped from the 2. It is Shivers darting into the middle. No sign yet from any of the referees. And they are stopped short. Another 4th down for the Indiana offense.
Idaho has made them work for everything, and they're going to go for it.
Bazelak gives it off to Shivers, and he is stopped short. A big-time goal line stand by the Idaho Vandals. It's a handoff on 1st down, and Indiana right there to stop it at about the 5. An extra push at the end. Second down, and a handoff. McCoy back to pass, flushed out of the pocket. Now he's looking for running room, and McCoy's got a 1st down and more. In just 6 short months under the new head coach, Jason Eck. McCoy going deep down the field again, and he's got Jermaine Jackson. A big pickup on 1st down, and Idaho, Indiana territory. First time inside Indiana's 40 tonight for Idaho. McCoy going to the air again. And he's brought down, nearly hauled in. On 2nd and 10, a shuffle pass and a leaping play. 3 seconds on the clock. McCoy finds a man across the 30 and more, and it's a 1st down. And a late flag comes in after the play.
There's no foul on the play for a blindside block. The block in question was legal.
Fresh set of downs from the 20. And the flag comes in. It'll be a false start.
Offense number 12.
We have Power 5 teams that don't play 2 Power 5 teams to start the season.
1st and 15. McCoy looking into the end zone, and he's out of the reach. McCoy flush to his right. Has to scamper out of bounds to avoid the sack. McCoy gives it off. It is Roschon Johnson breaking away, and Johnson across the 15, very close to the first down marker.
Got some serious wiggle to it. Coach has said we'll see more of him.
4th down and 2. McCoy feeling the pressure. He's got a first down, and his receiver brought down at the 1-yard line. Big pickup on 4th down.
So watch, they bring Cam Jones right into the face of McCoy, and he throws right to the teeth of the blitz and is able to do. Look at that play though. Up and over, time the snap count. I believe that was either Cam Jones or Casey. Somebody with a 4 was tackling number 4 and made a tremendous play on that QB sneak for a big tackle on McCoy.
We saw the Vandals defense come up with a goal line stand earlier in the game. Can Indiana return the favor? It's a sweep to the right side, and Dwyer twists into the end zone for a touchdown.
For our man, Jermaine Jackson.
And the extra point is up and through. You leave a team like this in a ball game as the game wears along. What does that do for Idaho's confidence? 5 carries for 31 yards. They haven't gone to him much since. This time it's Josh Henderson, and he twists forward for about 5 or 6.
And you got to wonder how much the rain is playing in to the passing game of Indiana not being what we saw last week as far as timing and catching the football.
It's Henderson again, and he barrels his way ahead for a first down, and the ball comes out. Idaho is on top of it. Handoff goes to the right side. Anthony Woods. He's back to pass on 2nd and 9. And McCoy going deep down the field again, and it's hauled in. And the officials waving it off. They are saying it's incomplete. McCoy steps up. He's going to take off. McCoy across the 40, and he slides down at about the 38-yard line. He has been dazzling tonight on the road in Bloomington. And a big-time shot. That is Mr. Casey coming up with the shot at the line of scrimmage. Pressure comes on 2nd and long, and McCoy is dropped in the backfield. First sack of the game, and it's Aaron Casey again for Indiana.
Look at the pressure here. Casey just goes right through that A-gap and too much power.
Idaho 3 for 6 on 3rd downs in the ball game. McCoy steps up, and the ball is tipped and incomplete. DJ Matthews back to receive. He lets it go over his head and into the end zone for a touchback. Connor Bazelak, 4 of 12 in the game, 35 yards passing. He hands it off on first down, and Shivers ripped to the turf, a loss of 4. What would you like to see from this Indiana offense to get going a little bit here in the 2nd quarter?
First, great play by Leo Tomba right there to make a tackle for loss. But I want some short throws to your great playmakers. Camper, Matthews, get them in rhythm, get Camper some confidence.
There you go, a dump down to Shivers. And he gets almost back what he lost on 2nd down.
And now you're 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, or 3rd and 11 rather. I mean, there's not a ton of plays that dial up great at 3rd and 11.
Particularly when the rain's still coming down.
And it is still coming down. And nobody's out on the number 2 receiver right there. Somebody's misaligned. They should throw the football right now. 2nd from the top of your screen. They didn't get it out in time.
Bazelak chased out of the pocket, has to heave it downfield, and it's out of bounds. And a 3-down stop. Indiana now 1 for 7 on 3rd downs.
And offensive coordinator Walt Bell cannot be happy with that. When you have a tempo offense and you have a 3 and out, it's like a double whammy because you don't ever get that first down to get your tempo going, to wear out that defense, to really see that run-pass combo that you want. Doesn't happen. 3 and out, they're getting the ball right back to the Vandals. They're going to have good field position based on this punt.
We have not really seen any extended drives in this game so far for Indiana. Jermaine Jackson back to receive the punt. And he fields it at his own 30. Jackson up the sideline. Now he cuts across the 50. And about a 20-yard return on the punt by Jermaine Jackson.
Vandals are here to play. Jermaine Jackson, first rule of punt return, make the first man miss. Well, catch the ball, make the first man miss, then get north and south. He did all of that, and Jackson has the two biggest plays offensively for this team.
Football in 60 is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
To negate some of the bigger pass plays, but it makes the run lanes open more when you have two high safeties.
Idaho has doubled Indiana's time of possession. McCoy back to pass. The redshirt freshman flushed out of the pocket, and that is the 5th or 6th time in this half that he has used his legs to evade the pressure. McCoy with the handoff. And it's Roschon Johnson wiggling away. McCoy slings it to Whitney, and he's ahead for 4 on first down. Taped him up, and he finished the rest of the game. Handoff again, this time to Johnson, and he barrels ahead across the 25. Johnson in the backfield again, and they give it to him again. And he is stopped just shy of the first down marker, and you fully expect a 4th down attempt here. And a quick snap, trick play, and it's intercepted. Taiwan Mullen, and he's got room to run down the near sideline. Mullen cuts across the 50. Taiwan Mullen with one man to beat, and he's pushed out of bounds inside the 25-yard line with a flag back behind the play.
Pass interference. Defense number 31. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
You expect Roschon Johnson's going to get a couple more carries here, but they don't have numbers to run the football right now.
2 receivers out to the right side. Fresh set of downs for Idaho. McCoy moving to his left, gets around the corner, and scampers out of bounds. 2nd and goal inside the Indiana 10. McCoy dumps it down, and it's a touchdown for Idaho. Anthony Woods hauls it in. And there is a flag, though, on the far sideline.
Well, that was great play design by Jason Eck to get that running back open in space.
Illegal formation. Offense number 0 was lined up off the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
It was Therese Traynor with the infraction. 5 penalties for 25 yards tonight for Idaho. 2nd and goal. McCoy ripped down. Desan McCullough, the freshman, with the play in the backfield. Whitney in motion. Handoff to Johnson. And he skirts out across the 15. That brings up 4th down and goal from about the 13-yard line.
I think Jason Eck was thinking the same thing, right? Let's run the football. Let's make sure we get 3. Let's not take another sack. Indiana's been bringing pressure. Let's try to make this a 2-possession football game with about 2 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the first half.
Ricardo Chavez out for the field goal. Made a 27-yarder last week. This one from 29. And he splits the uprights and gets set to kick it off. Indiana's offense desperate to get something going here to close out the first half in Bloomington. Jalen Lucas on the return. He's out across the 20. And pushed out of bounds at the 40. Connor Bazelak is back out. 5 of 14 today for 38 yards. And they go to the ground on first down. Shivers.
Usually this isn't a bad weather month. Usually it's October, November in the Big Ten. You gotta be able to run that football.
Bazelak pulls it back to pass. And He's got a first down, but a flag.
Personal foul, hands to the face. Defense number 41, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Well, that'll help.
Hands to the face is the defensive lineman there.
Giuliano Falanico, the USC transfer, one of a couple of Power Fives on this vaulted Idaho defense.
Now, it also adds another 15 onto the play. That was about a 25-yard swing there for the Hoosiers, just what they needed with a $1:47 to go in the second quarter.
First and 10 from the 29. A zip pass goes out to Camper, and it's out of his reach.
Watch the hands to the face right there. 41, Falanico trying to get there. You saw his left hand just slide up on the offensive lineman, and the reason they'll call that as a personal foul, gets into his face mask. You control that offensive player pretty easily if you grab his face mask. So good call by the official.
Rain coming down heavier again now as we close the first half. Bazelak going deep, and it's intercepted. Hauled in inside the 5-yard line by Tommy McCormick.
Randall had 385. Can you believe that? He's known for his running, but he threw for a 385. Could throw the rock a little bit. Of course, had a long career with the Steelers.
Another long way to go here for Idaho. As Cam Jones is in on the play, they'll give forward progress. Stopped at the 3-yard line. Opportunity here for Indiana's defense to make a big play before half. They go to the ground. It is Roschon Johnson. He's got 9 carries for 24 yards, does McCoy. No keeper here. He goes with a handoff, and a first down picked up by Roschon Johnson. They trailed 35-0 at the half here last year. Johnson breaks another big one on first down. Indiana coming off a huge win in the Big Ten on this field last week against Illinois.
Not only in that quarter, but the entire first half. I mean, you could not draw up a worse half for the Indiana Hoosiers. Can they bounce back in the second half and make a comeback?
And now the first drive of the second half, and McCoy uncorks one deep down the middle of the field and almost intercepted by Jalen Williams.
Also said they got to get that kicking game figured out. In the second half, it's all about ball security. They didn't have any turnovers in that first half.
McCoy on third down. Lots of time, and now the pocket collapses. As a true freshman, I might add, against Illinois last week. They love what he brings to this defense. Botched the punt, almost got blocked, and it just gets across the 50. DJ Matthews gets out of the way.
Something unnecessary. Running is just the 5-yard version. It still applies in the tackle box, but it obviously didn't result in a first down.
31 yards on first down. Bazelak going to the air, and it's through the hands. 2 wide receivers with over 100 yards receiving. Bazelak to the far sideline, and that was caught.
How many guys they keep it in here? Where's the man-to-man? Where should I run? Timeout, Indiana.
On 3rd and 1, Indiana has to burn a timeout here early in the third quarter by this Idaho defense. And it's a handoff up the middle, and a big pickup on 3rd and short. 71 yards for Shivers. And they go to him again, and this time he is dropped in the backfield. 3 wide receivers out to the right. Shivers in the backfield. Bazelak taking the shot, and it is hauled in for a catch. Empty backfield. Bazelak surveying. One-handed catch by Matthews. He's into the 5-yard line and beyond. Donovan McCulley, the quarterback turned wide receiver, into the backfield. And he's going to run it. McCulley up the middle, and Phillies into the end zone for a touchdown. Indiana on the board. First touchdown of the season for Donovan McCulley, and the point after is good. They will let it sail into the end zone. 2 catches on that drive by DJ Matthews for 25 yards. As McCulley pulls it back on first down. Now he's flushed out of the pocket, and he slides down with a flag thrown behind the play.
44 on the tackle, Casey.
See if it was blocking low here. There was a low block.
Personal foul. Illegal block below the waist. Offense number 28. The block was from the side.
I think he's trying to attack him head on. Boy, that's a difficult call. And maybe we could get Dean Blandino to explain. This is a point of emphasis now on blocking low. And that's a very tough call for a running back to get that. I think he tried to square him up, but was unable to.
It was the freshman Anthony Woods. Half the distance to the goal now, Idaho from their own 10-yard line. And McCoy behind the intended receiver. Let's bring in Dean Blandino.
Well, that's a good point that Dean made. It maybe wasn't a low block defined as below the waist, because he does bring the shoulder into the belt line, it seemed. I thought the question was he square enough, which I thought.
Ball gets away from McCoy, and he's down in the end zone. It is a safety for the Indiana defense.
He was not ready for the football, results in a safety.
What did Jason X say coming into the second half? The Idaho Vandals cannot beat themselves. Here is the return from DJ Matthews, and he is stuffed at about the 35-yard line. Let's go down to Shane Sparks.
Well, down here on this Indiana sideline, it is a whole new energy. Guys are up, they're smiling, talking to each other. They look much more loose in that first half, in my opinion. They looked like they were kind of sleeping. A lot of long faces, didn't have the energy. They are smelling momentum right now. They pulled us into within a 1-point game.
Great stuff, Shane. It's an Indiana team that has talked about grit a lot, Jay. They feel like that's what makes this program special this year. First down, and Bazelak has a man. It's Cam Camper across the 50-yard line and still fighting for more. Another Indiana first down.
And Camper, that big body in between him and the defender for a nice gain.
Bazelak back to pass again. This time it's eaten up by Marcus Harris. Paul Moala also in on the tackle, the Notre Dame transfer. Indiana's last drive, 8 plays, 70 yards. Resulted in a touchdown, their first score of the game. On 2nd and 7. Bazelak going for it all, and it's caught just in front of the 10-yard line. And now the officials are going to wave it off. Cam Camper did not get it in bounds.
Back shoulder fade to perfection, except Camper not able to finish the catch. He wants that one back.
No rain here in the second half. We are seeing Bazelak air it out a little bit more than we saw in the first period. And now 3rd and long. 3 receivers to his left, Shivers in the backfield. And it's a free play for Indiana, and a catch by A.J. Barner. First down and more. Barner into the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Hoosiers. 43 yards. Much different team than we saw in the first half. And the extra point is good.
Football in 60 is presented by Rocket Mortgage. For the playbook on home loans, Rocket can.
Jay, 16 unanswered points in this half.
We've seen Bazelak throw better balls, but his receivers make plays catching the ball and after the catch that have totally turned the mood.
Played 20 games coming into this season, but mainly on special teams. His first opportunity to shine in the offense as they go to Rashawn Johnson on first down. Now the redshirt freshman, Giovanni McCoy, tasked with leading this offense, trailing for the first time tonight.
And they stack it, expecting to run.
That's what they'll get. And it is McCullough making the stop in the backfield and tackle for a loss.
He has the body type to do it and the speed to do it.
DJ Matthews back to receive the punt. And he catches it at the 30-yard line.
Especially his receivers, the way he's getting the football out. No rain. I think that's helping his accuracy, which was off in the first half.
Go to the ground. Shivers scampers across the 35. Shivers 14 carries, 75 yards. He was held to just 28 yards against Illinois last week. Bazelak looking on a post route, and it is caught by Donovan McCulley.
All Bazelak does is look at the safety. He says, who's the safety over the top of, and who has man coverage? Like right now, you've got man coverage into the boundary, right? Now they got two safety looks, so you're checked to run.
Back to Shivers, wiggling his way through the defense. Shivers still on his feet, and he's dragged down inside the 30. They go right back to Shivers. The chain gang barely has enough time to get him set. They're going to give Shaun Shivers a breather. He's got 99 yards rushing in this game. Bazelak going deep. He's got DJ Matthews. Another touchdown for the Hoosiers. And this Indiana team was shot out of a cannon coming out of the halftime locker room. 23 unanswered points. Indiana was held scoreless in the first half. The Hoosiers offense has come alive, and the defense has continued to be exceptional, Jay, for Giovanni McCoy and the Idaho Vandals, who had 170 yards in the first half. McCoy flushed out of the pocket, has to get rid of it. And they go to the ground. And it's a first down and more for the Vandals. At South Dakota State, and a fourth-round draft pick by the Patriots this year. They go on the jet sweep to Dwyer, and he's chased out of bounds. McCoy gives it off on 2nd and 8. And there is the Indiana defense swallowing up the running back. 3rd down and long for Idaho. Pressure comes. McCoy gets rid of it. There is a flag down in the backfield.
Offense number 55. Decline. 4th down.
Number 1, Jermaine Jackson, second receiver from the top of your screen in the slot, right on the hash.
McCoy with time. Now moving to his left, and it's overthrown. Bazelak to the air, and he dumps it underneath.
It's looking like he's looking at the sideline more for what to do.
Hands it off to Henderson, and he gashes up the middle for a first down.
Now they sneak a guy in. You see they're trying to disguise that linebacker. Is he in coverage or not? They could throw the football if they wanted to.
They will run it instead, and Henderson bounces off a couple of tacklers and strung out for a negligible gain on first down. The defensive end, the linebackers who are coming in on that run pass option. He goes quick to the left side, and it's Emery Simmons popped just across the 25.
Passes to 0, Emery Simmons, 31 on the tackle.
Henderson on 3rd down, picks his way through the defense, and more rumbling across the 10-yard line. First down, Indiana. 23 unanswered points for the Hoosiers, and now they're inside the 10, knocking on the door again for another Connor Bazelak touchdown. Goes to the ground instead. Henderson pulls his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Indiana. 2-point conversion. Baseline. Chased out of the pocket. Buying time. All of Indiana's points until the last touchdown came in the third quarter. What do you think was said in the halftime locker room?
A few choice words. I'm almost thinking, did they get new guys at halftime and just put the same different jerseys on them, or what? Because I don't think I remember a game. We've called a number of games now. Been around football on time. I don't think I've ever seen a team look so bad in the first half and so good in the second half.
What do you attribute that to? I mean, the rain, the delay, all of it?
I think there was the rain, there was delay. Big emotional win against Illinois, Big Ten opener, right? And I think this is what Tom Allen was talking about. He was so urgent because he knew, he might have felt, man, I feel like we might be looking past these guys. I'm not looking past these guys. But we got young football players, people that haven't been here. Nothing's guaranteed here. We got to make sure we come play. And he knew that Idaho was going to come out and do that.
They go to the ground. Rashawn Johnson across the 35 for a first down.
We get it done.
That's that Big Ten education.
Yes,
at
sir.
the University of Illinois. A first down toss. Back to Johnson. He's bottled up across the 40.
5, Bradley Jennings on the stop.
Go back to what we talked about at the start of the second half, and Tom Allen telling us there's something special about this team. Their grit, their resilience, the sense of urgency. And you might be onto something, Jay, with that emotional win last week, because there was almost a desperation amongst this Indiana team to beat Illinois last week and snap an 8-game losing streak.
It was tangible, according to Tom Allen, and they really wanted it. They got it done. And I think that was the key for them as far as putting last year behind them, saying, hey, that was a fluke. We had a lot of injuries, a lot of stuff we couldn't control. It's a new season. We're starting 1-0 as a team, 1-0 in the Big Ten Conference. And when you play in the Big Ten East, Big Ten wins don't come easy at all. You know, you look at the back end of Indiana's schedule every year. They've got to play Michigan, Michigan State, Ohio State, Penn State every year. And so it's not easy.
They have 3 teams on their schedule right now inside the AP top 15. 3rd down and 1 for Idaho. McCoy flips it to the freshman Dwyer. Strung out to the sideline, and he just scoots across to get the first down.
21, Dwyer on the carry.
When you look at that play, you think he's gaining a lot more yards than he is, and he gains 2. Watch him just stretch it out right here. Good play on the edge right there by Jalen Williams, using his hands. That's all Big Ten play right there. Use your hands, get off the block, make the tackle on Dwyer in space. Yes, he gets the first down, but a good play as Jason Eck looks on and says, what can I dial up to get some points on the board and get my football team back in this football game?
Idaho's lone touchdown, a 98-yard drive, started on their own 2. Sanguinetti in on the tackle, as was Cam Jones.
I don't think he may not be carrying a lunch pail with that degree, right? I mean, he'll probably be an engineer somewhere, building buildings and skyscrapers.
3rd down and 5. To the ground, and another first down. Anthony Woods, the freshman, putting his head down and getting out across the 40.
You know, you look at what Idaho has done here, and you see just coming straight at you here. Just O-line got numbers, and they run through. You see Aaron Casey makes the play. But Idaho's put together 2 or 3 first downs here running the football. Indiana really struggled against Chase Brownell. Now, who hasn't struggled against Chase Brown? I mean, he's gone off for over 146 yards.
Good point.
Each game this year, right? But even Idaho getting serious, they're going to have to shore up their run defense in the Big Ten. Their pass defense, I think, is pretty exceptional with the experience they have back there.
Hand off to Johnson, a couple of cuts, and then he darts forward towards the 35. Has been held scoreless ever since.
I wouldn't be surprised if Jermaine Jackson gets a look here. They've been running the football effectively here, but number one just came to the game. Second from the top of your screen is a guy they like to pinpoint.
McCoy looking to his left. He's got a man open. Instead, it's a dump down to Rashawn Johnson inside the 10-yard line. McCoy stepping up in the pocket, and he is dropped hard by DeMarcus Elliott.
Elliott has played a lot of football here. Watch them stay in their rush lane. See Lucas. You see Bo Robbins, DeMarcus Elliott. When you're playing a guy like Giovanni McCoy, you got to stay in your rush lanes because he'll exploit you. You get out of your lane, he'll run in that lane. He's like a good running back, good quarterback like water. Always find the hole. You saw DeMarcus Elliott seal that up, though.
No gain on the play, second down and goal. Graves comes in motion. McCoy floats it over the top and finds Rashawn Johnson for the score. Well executed on second and goal.
Actually, the play they ran.
Idaho has all 3 timeouts. Going for 2. It's a trick play, and it is snuffed out. Big time play.
Great games. I mean, Quinn Ewers went down. Oh, onside kick.
In Pullman last week, ultimately losing on a touchdown, on a interception rather, in the final moments of the game.
And they battled, right? I mean,
Yeah,
other than that third quarter where they were just overwhelmed, they've battled.
Hand off to Shivers. He's up the middle and he's gone. Shaun Shivers, a touchdown for Indiana.
Number 2, Shaun Shivers, touchdown.
His first touchdown of the night, and it's a big one for the Hoosiers.
Just opened up like the Red Sea.
Mays-like under center. Bootleg to the right. And the back of the end zone, he was looking for Camper, and it's incomplete. Outside of that Michigan game, a very manageable schedule for Indiana.
Very manageable. You know, Nebraska's had some trouble early on, as we saw with their loss to Northwestern in week 0.
It was also funny that he told us during college wrestling season, he was cutting some weight after adding it for football, and his then-girlfriend, now wife Tracy, said it was during those months he was awfully hangry. I understand.
Giovanni McCoy chased down by number 43.
Yes, he was having to cut 20-25 pounds, he told Shane Jay and I earlier this week.
Yeah, he said there was, back in the day, it was the heavyweight and then it was 190. So he was playing at 210, 215 at backer, then cutting weight. Man, I can just imagine that guy cutting weight. I mean,
Well, he
just
told
a tough
us, he
guy.
said, guys, I like to eat.
He likes to eat.
Different era back then, too, to cut weight, where the trash bags, the heavy sweatpants.
Yeah.
Giovanni McCoy, a handoff on first down. There's Anthony Woods strung out just in front of the 30-yard line. Idaho still battling here late in Bloomington. McCoy, here comes the blitz from Pierre, and McCoy hits his man downfield, and he's still going. Michael Graves down the sideline, touchdown. What a play by Giovanni McCoy to avoid the pressure from Noah Pierre and hit his man downfield.
And not only avoid, but stand in the pocket. Watch him stand in the pocket and watch Pierre come right down the pipe and hit him. And you'll see just some bad tackling right here, right? Just bad tackling. First it was Monster Matthews, then another missed tackle, and then Graves is off to the races. Touchdown.
71 yards. McCoy hooking up with Michael Graves. First touchdown of the season for Graves. And this look from Tom Allen says it all. His team really hasn't given up a big play since the first quarter.
No.
They gave up a 50-yard pass reception. McCoy and the Vandals going for it on 2. The swing pass doesn't work this time. The hands team is out for Indiana. Onside kick. Flag comes up. Ball out of bounds. It'll be Indiana football. I think Idaho can be a sleeping giant in the FCS, and he intends it to be during his tenure in Moscow. Shivers wiggles his way across the 35.
Shaun Shivers, the ball carrier.
And he is almost at 150 yards rushing in this game tonight.
Interesting story about Shivers. He's a guy obviously transferred from Auburn, but they recruited Shivers hard in high school. Battled with Auburn down to the wire. He ended up going to Auburn. But when stuff didn't work out at Auburn, it was almost like Tom Allen said, we already knew who he was. We vetted him. We don't want to take any transfer without knowing who the kid is, what kind of character does the guy have. It just really fit the Indiana model. And so when they had a chance to get Shivers in the portal, they jumped at it.
They go back to Shivers, and he twists out of 2 tackles and dives forward.
It's a good situation for Indiana to really work that, what they call the 4-minute drill. How to finish a game if you're on offense and you're leading by running the ball and getting first downs. You've proven you can throw the football. Tom Allen a little bit upset after that big play. Wants to see this offense finish strong.
Indiana letting the clock trickle down. Here 4 minutes left now in the 4th quarter. 3rd down and 2 for the Hoosiers. Back to Shivers. Has the first down.
To end well any recruit, if a recruit says, hey, no, I'm going to go to a different school, to keep that relationship, right? Don't burn a bridge, because you don't know when those guys are going to get back in the portal. You know, in the past, it was more difficult to transfer 10, 20 years ago. Now, you never know if you're going to see those kids back in the portal in a year or 2, and you want to have the relationship to come back to you.
Freshman from Louisiana, Jalen Lucas, into the ball game. They give him the rock on 2nd and 6. 3rd and short for the Hoosiers. Less than 4 minutes to play in the 4th quarter. And a handoff up the middle, and just enough to keep the drive alive for Indiana.
27, Trent Howland on the carry.
Trent Howland on the carry, his first carry of the season. What a second half by Connor Bazelak. Looked totally out of sorts in the first half. Weather delay, tons of rain, just couldn't quite find his rhythm. Now 197 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. And in this half, Jay, 10 for 12. 148 yards.
Been so confident, been so sure, technique's been on point. Most important is accuracy, right?
Gives it back to Howland. And he scampers forward close to the 10, and another first down. Lots of activity across the country. Of course, a big storyline in Madison. Badgers go down to Washington State in a Pac-12 Big Ten battle. Big win for Ohio State, big win for Michigan, a team that this Indiana team will play in the coming weeks. As Bazelak falls on the botch snap, and that brings up 3rd down. Indiana have scored all 35 points in this second half. Handoff goes to Jalen Lucas. Lucas. They go back to Lucas again. Interesting to see Indiana's resolve and resilience tonight, down 10-0 at the half to a very good FCS team in Idaho. Much better than the team they saw here last year. Connor Bazelak